Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Dr. Plurings or Dr. Plurings, whatever, however you prefer it. Computer laboratorium, network laboratorium, perhaps this evening. You may or may not be aware, I'm actually a professional network engineer, among other things. Professional does not necessarily imply skill. It just means that you're getting paid for whatever it is that you're doing. But I am actually pretty good. But we have, I don't know if there's a saying that in English that corresponds to something that we have, which is that the children of the shoemaker wore the worst shoes, or how you call it. I.e. that you tend to sort of not make maybe the best at home out of the what stuff you do at work. So should we start? We start with what? We can start with the end goal. Here is to upgrade my home network a little bit. So and especially upgrade the speed a little bit. And a problem has been a long time that the next step up from 1 gigabit would be 10 gigabits. 10 gigabits is wonderful if you're in a data center where you can have like very loud switches that require a lot of cooling, for example, or where you have short runs. You can use DAC cables, doesn't require that much cooling, a very good performance and everything. But in a home environment, it gets like a bit expensive, I feel, and a bit much. So, but nowadays you can get like 2.5 gigabits instead. That's a fair trade-off to get a bit more performance without going all the way and having to spend all that money and invest in maybe new networking cables. You need Cat 6 to get 10 gigabits, but doing 10 gigabits over Cat 6 cable is hopeless because it's so very, very, very energy intensive on the switches. They need a lot of cooling and they would be very noisy, and so it goes on like that. It's nothing for a home environment. But I have bought that the end goal is to have three network cards, 2.5 gigabits, and a switch. Absolutely the highest quality. This is not something I would ever touch if it was in a professional setting, crap like this. But it's like the amongst the cheap. I'm doing unboxing. Dr. Pluring does unboxing. Apparently, yes. There you go. It's unboxed. It's a network switch, supposedly manageable. managed, so I can do VLANs and things. Yeah, there you go. So this supposedly has 8 ports and web managed 2.5G Ethernet switch, and it even has a 10 gigabit SFP plus port, supposedly. If you had something else to, but I don't have anything to have any use of hooking up to. But nevertheless, the goal is to get 3 of my machines here on the home network onto 2.5 gigabits, and especially the NAS, the rebuilt NAS, my server, my main server, and also my if you could call it my main workstation. I don't have a main workstation really. My main workstation is my laptop, but that's not going to get 2.5 gigabits, and it doesn't matter because I don't need to copy a whole lot of data to and from it. But I have the gaming rig or whatever it is, my Excel machine, the one machine I have that runs Windows. So those 3 are getting 2.5 gigabits eventually here. But before any of that, I'm going to look here at what the shoemaker has done for himself over a few years. And this is, yeah, obviously this is at home. I would never ever stand for anything like this if I was getting paid for it and such. But here's sort of my networking closet. Oh, and there we have one of these very, very incredibly fucking annoying flies. Fucking hate these things. In autumn and spring. I think that they try and overwinter in the attic. And then when there's a slightly warmer day in autumn and spring, they get the idea, oh, it's summertime, it's time to come out. And they don't, they get stuck in here and they make it so much noise. Now, it is a bit tight and cramped in here. But we will try and work our way through most of the things, or some of the things anyway. I have... This is incoming fiber from the street, so that's good. There it goes to fiber converter, goes to copper, goes to router. Router is one of these thin clients thing. HP something rather really good little machine. This, which I put a 4-port network card in because it has a PCIe slot, so you can expand it. It's really good. That's a fantastic little thing, actually. It goes into there and goes to my largest switch is this one, right? Sure, great stuff. Not terrible, but not great neither. For home use, it's very good. It's reasonably good. Even once upon a time I was pretty ambitious here and trying to do a patch, patch spacing. However, it turned out that it's incredibly goddamn cramped to do anything here, so it's not really whatever. But it goes into there, from there to there to various places around the house. I have a switch here, which is a power over Ethernet switch that does some access points and some other things. So that's for Wi-Fi and other things. I also have this. This is completely homemade, custom made. I bought some pack of Chinese crap IP cameras. And they had their own little idea of how to do power over Ethernet. Not using the standard, or rather using an old standard, however it was. In either case, you were supposed to supply 12 volts on 2 of the pairs there of the thing. So I made this rather than being... the cameras came in a package with something that would supply them with power and network and everything, but that was rubbish, so I didn't want to use that. I only wanted the cameras and to power them. This apparently was the best way to do that at the time. And now, there are cables, they are going... Yeah, I've owned this house for, what is it? God damn it, 17 years, 16 years. So, it sort of tends to go a little bit overboard and such. This is a complete fucking mess, is what this is. So just dropping a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet switch into all of this is not going to help a lot. Here's my Windows machine, by the way. Along with the Christmas decorations and a printer and what have you not over there. Right, sure. So, yeah. So there you have sort of what we're working with, what we're dealing with. The best thing to do at this point would be to buy a new house and start over. But I'm not at a place in my... I'm not ready to buy a new house at the moment. So I'm going to try and make the best out of the situation, maybe. Then again, I don't know. I'm just a little bit. We'll try and make a design first of all. Architecture. As you know, I'm really good with network architecture. Supposedly, people pay me lots of money to do network architecture, and I'm usually praised for my work. And it's usually pretty damn good work at that. But then I'm not really dealing with the cheapest possible switches out of AliExpress, usually. Oh, but stop making excuses and get on with what it is that you want to do. Huh? So my my home network, it has a few parts to it. I think I have, let's see here now, I have 3. How many networks do I actually have? I have the LAN. I have a Wi-Fi guest. Don't have to specify it as a Wi-Fi. It's just a guest network, really. So, and the guest network and the LAN do not have a connection between them. And I also have a dedicated IoT network. Because you have dodgy things that you don't really know what they do, that you put on the IoT network, so that is completely isolated and can't get anywhere, really. The LAN can speak, of course, to the IoT network and into the guest network too, I suppose, but the guest network, it gets out to the internet if it wants to, but the IoT network is a dead end there. And the LAN can do whatever it wants. And here, of course, then my firewall router sits. It's running OpenSense, that thing. Pretty good stuff, I'd say. So, yeah. But this is not going to change a whole lot. I'm pretty happy with how this is. So this serves my purposes. Do I have... Wait, I have one more network. I do. I also have a CCTV network. That's a dedicated network too. And this is, of course, accomplished through the use of VLANs, virtual LANs. So there's a VLAN for the LAN, VLAN for the LAN, sure. There's a VLAN for the guest network. There's a VLAN for the IoT and the CCTV. And most switches I have are VLAN capable. This 2.5 gigabyte thing I bought is VLAN capable, is managed. So it should be VLAN capable. I have not tested it yet. I just unboxed it. And these are the network interface cards I bought. Looks fantastic, doesn't it? Well, they're supposed to have an Intel chipset on them, so that should be good. That 4-port network card that you just saw in my router also has an Intel chipset on it, but it's an Intel i350 classic workhorse. Very reliable. I don't know if this will be as reliable. I mean, there's a lot more to it than just what is underneath this heatsink, the chipset that is, everything around it, the components. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot to this one. Oh no, you're showing the MAC address. That's private information, yeah, but you sort of have to be on my network to ever see the MAC address anyway. So what's... I don't see... I often fail to see the point of people... masking or saying, keeping secret what, for example, their subnet is. What is my subnet for my... It's 192.168. For the IoT, I'm not sure. For the CCTV, I can tell you 192.168.92/24. .0. People often mask these things when they're doing show and tells and such. I fail to see the point because you sort of... Internet is out here. Symbolized by one of these deadly things. Internet. Hopefully I have my firewall here is in order so that you would not get it. Never mind. Whatever. Those are the networks I have. But my problem is not with this. really. My problem is what you saw on the other side of the wall. It's my switch topology, which I'm not even sure how it is. I have an idea of how it's supposed to be in my head. It has to change a bit to accommodate for a 2.5 gigabit switch. So if we start with the 2.5 gigabit switch, .5G switch, and make that our we don't have to make that the core switch, but you see the reason I'm hesitant to make that the core switch, even though this in theory should have the best performance, not so sure about the reliability of it, as it is Chinese no-name crap. But yeah. Yeah, but this is why we're here, to figure this stuff out. But I have the 2.5G switch. I also have the 24-port HP switch. I also have an 8-port HP switch. Both of those are pretty okay. Then I have the CCTV switch. Let's draw this in here and see what we get. And all of this is actually just here that we saw earlier on the other side of the wall. So we have the HP 24. Can you write? Well, usually yes, but now it's pretty late, and I have maybe taken a bit more of my prescribed medication than I'm supposed to, because I can't deal with certain emotions right now, because it's pretty fucking tough to deal with panic attacks constantly. Going around and hyperventilating and crying all the time. So you tend to overconsume sometimes of that stuff. That's not the subject that we're supposed to get into. No. What the hell, man? Shut up about that. Yeah, of course, but yeah, whatever. And I have the HP 8-port switch. Well, on the subject of drugs, for some reason my YouTube feed recently have gotten a lot of drug-related stuff in it, both illicit drugs and the stuff that you get on prescription, and the stuff I take I have a prescription for, of course. But one thing that I've noticed here in those is they talk down. They say that benzodiazepines are really bad for you. They're dangerous, and you should quit. And I do not. God damn it! What is this sidetrack that you're on now? Yeah, but I felt so much when I heard this, because they're actually giving out very dangerous advice. Yeah, sure. If you're addicted to benzos, Xanax or Valium, diazepam, or whatever it may be, certainly try and make an effort to get off it. But I've heard people say that you should quit cold turkey. Don't do that. It's actually extremely dangerous to do that. There are 3 categories of drugs, as far as I'm aware, that are actually dangerous to quit cold turkey, as in dangerous that you can actually die from it. And that is alcohol, benzos, and barbiturates. Now, barbiturates aren't in use anymore, so that's probably a non-issue. But the benzos are certainly in use, and alcohol is in use and will probably continue to be in use. And you can't quit cold turkey with those things, because you can get like what are they called? Seizures and things, and you can actually die. So to quit. To quit benzos, I would suggest a really slow taper. A very, very, very slow taper. The opposite of cold turkey. Maybe decrease your dosage by 0.5 milligrams every 2 weeks. Sidetrack. You were supposed to speak about network engineering. Yes. But I get a bit worried when I see people say that, you have to quit that stuff, it's very dangerous, quit cold turkey and give it up. Yeah, well, if you want to die, do that, and if you want to fail, then do that too. If you want to stand a chance of actually succeeding, taper it extremely slowly. Anyway, I have the HP 8-port switch. I have what is the brand again of the other 8-port switch? I have something. It's those cheap ones. TP-Link. TP-Link 8-port, which is for the special one for CCTV. Right, and I also have another TP-Link. I believe it is a TP-Link. This is unmanaged, by the way. So we would say dumb. And another 8-port TP-Link that does, among other things, it is power over Ethernet. So therefore does Wi-Fi access points. Right? And that's just on the other side of the wall here. This one is not connected at the moment. This one is. This one is here. This one is pretty full, or it is full. And that one is full too. Oh. So I have these 3 machines. I have the main server. I can write the name of it. It's just that it's a bit personal, the name of the server. We just call it main server. Main server. See, I'm more hesitant to tell you the name of my server than I am to tell you the IP range of my network. Who the fuck cares about the IP range of my network? Well, who the fuck cares about what the name of your server is? No, maybe not, but that feels a bit private. And then I have the rebuilt NAS. And then I have the Excel machine, i.e. Windows. It's the one that is making the noise at the moment in the background, if you can hear it. They will go into there, like so. And I also have let's just try and do the most essential things maybe here first. The Excel machine is essential. Not really. Do I even have Excel installed on it? No, I don't think so. It's just what I call it. Windows 10 at that. Shouldn't you know it? Sure. And the rebuilt NAS, that's running fucking Void Linux on ZFS, booting and everything. And the main server is running Arch Linux. These details are not important for the networking bit, you know. Try and keep it to whatever it is. Whatever, yes. And we have let's do just a little table here of the different VLANs that we have. And so the VLAN and the VLAN tag. Oh, should you give away your VLAN tag? Yes. I'm going to do that. The LAN. That's tag number 10. And it doesn't matter because we'll get this mixed up anyway. The guest, say that is 11. IoT, say that is 13. And CCTV, so that it is 14. The only one that I'm sure is correct here is the LAN, that is 10. Doesn't matter. What is important is that we have those. Actually, it does matter a bit if I want to use this thing. But we're only designing at this point. Designing. Yeah. We're doing network engineering, network design. You're terrible at this, you know. I'm actually great at this, but maybe not at a mental state such as this, and also trying to speak into a goddamn camera or microphone, and and whatnot. Never mind, get on with the goddamn content. Okay. So we have that, right? and for the main server, I'm thinking then to put one of these in the main server. I do not have any spare PCIe slots in it, but as it stands now, when I have this, I could stand to lose a SAS controller from it and replace that. Or, you're supposed to, goddammit, I already have one of those four-port network cards in it. That's what I'm supposed to replace this with. Right, so out that goes, and in goes one of these cheapo Chinese things from AliExpress. Yes, and then the motherboard in that server still has 2 built-in gigabit ports on the motherboard. So what I'm thinking here is, should I tag as in bundle these here VLANs together on the 2.5 gigabit link to the server, or should I keep the 2.5 gig link as only LAN? In either case, I'm going to put the LAN as pvid or have it untagged. It's really only a preference of nomenclature. I usually on a diagram I put the pvid or the untagged network with the minus. But I was not supposed to write pvid. I was supposed to write the actual VLAN tag, so minus 10 is what we do there. We have 10 untagged. And maybe have the rest, well, not guessed, but IoT and... No, IoT doesn't go into there neither. CCTV does go into there, though. But that could be done, since I have spare network ports. Maybe we'll keep it this way. With only that, the rebuilt NAS is only interested in the LAN, and the Excel machine is also only interested in the LAN. Now we're a bit tight on space here on the paper. We say we didn't draw. Could use a pencil instead and an eraser. Yeah, whatever. We put in the HP 24 port switch. I might actually get away with just using the 8-port one. It depends a bit. There. And between these will be an uplink or a downlink, depending on whose perspective you're looking from. But I think I'll still keep this as the core switch and I'll put the router firewall here. I have that's connected to there, and with the pvid is the LAN, and I have the guest network is tagged, and the IoT network is tagged, and the CCT network I could do. I think I currently have it like so. From the CCTV switch into one of the ports there. Yeah, you could also put it here. Doesn't really matter. We'll have it like this for now. Maybe I'll change my mind. And the core switch needs to be connected to the CCTV switch, and there we'll simply do the pvid of the CCT network, which might be number 14. Right? And on here, well, I did buy a managed 2.5 gigabit switch because I figured I would need to be able to tag these VLANs into the main server. But it turns out I might not need that, so I could have gotten away with something for about half the price. Whatever. We use for this link. I'll use the 10 as pvid and have all the rest tagged, just in case I want them or something. If you don't want, unless you're constrained by security, for example, it's always good to have. It's not always, but usually a good idea to have all your VLANs tagged on the backbone links connecting your switches together, because then it's easy for you to I need the IoT network here for some reason. That's a dumb switch. I can't do that. But say here, I want the IoT on a port here, so I already have that if I have done it like so. Otherwise, you go chasing around and don't know where the fuck is going on here, because I was out. This happened just a few months ago. In my living room, there's a switch too. Something, an 8-port something. I don't recall right now. It's a TP-Link maybe. But I thought that this was hooked up to a port here in the HP switch. The VRRP thing that it gave me would indicate that it was, but I just couldn't make sense of it. I said, yeah, on the port that you have this switch, you're supposed to add these tags tagged, these networks tagged, and I just couldn't get it out here. And then it turned out that no, it's not actually directly connected to that one. It goes through this one. Then it made sense why it didn't quite work as I was intending it to, or expecting it to, rather. Are you following along? I'm sort of all over the place here, right? Yes, I am. Probably. So, the switch topology. Have we gotten any wiser by this whatsoever? I doubt it. But whatever. And for the Wi-Fi, yeah. Uplink to there, and there we're still doing the LAN as a PVID, and we're tagging on. Yeah, we need to tag on IoT. Come on, man. 11. We're sure you don't have a number 12. I'm pretty sure that one of these is actually 20. These numbers are not correct. Doesn't matter for the purposes here. This is just an abstract. But we add the guest network. We have the IoT network is very important here, because that's these things most of the things on the IoT network connect over Wi-Fi. And what else? Surveillance network, CCTV. Do I need that here? I don't think so. And here's a case where I may not want to, how you say it, bring this network along unless I need it, because here we're doing multicast traffic. The IP cameras are sending out multicast traffic, so that will get spread around. Yes, there's a mechanism called IGMP. Who is going to have any use for this information? Because if you don't know what IGMP is, or what it does, or what multicast is, or what that does, then you're not going to get enough here to understand it. So then again, that's my channel in a nutshell. I did give some very important information regarding the cessation of using benzodiazepines, though. Yes, do not go to cold turkey. Seek professional help, and it was probably a professional that got you into the situation in the first place. So they can also, then it is their responsibility even to help you get off it if that's what you want. Then you might also suffer from really fucking debilitating anxiety and panic attacks. And then benzos are, in my experience, still the best thing there is. It's not great, it's not even good, but still the best, the most effective, the thing that we have for it. Sure. Right. Right, a TP-Link 8 port, power over Ethernet. What have you done here now? I'm not sure this makes sense, you know. Yes, this makes perfect sense. It's just I'm losing track a little bit of what it is here. But it should be right. So then, yes, this makes sense. And these then go out from here. So they go out to little access points. And an access point, typically, if the access point supports it to have multiple SSIDs, I will do still the LAN as PVID, and then I will add like the guest network and the IoT network tagged, and then do one SSID for the LAN, i.e. my internal network, one for the guest network, and one for the IoT network. So I have 3 different SSIDs on the same access points infrastructure thing. Most of my access points support this feature, I believe, and if they don't, it depends on where they're placed and what I need right there, where they are placed. So that's a typical thing. How many access points do you have? I don't know really. They're sort of all over the place. And whatnot. Right, but this could be workable. And then there's like 1,000 things that is connected here. You saw the 24 port switch. Basically every port is occupied there with something. Yes, but with what? Does it even go anywhere? You see, this is what I say. I would need to tear all of it down, start from scratch. But that's going to take like days. When I start tearing that thing apart, there will be days until I have a fully functioning home network again. And in that, I mean, I don't have that much energy and ability to concentrate for extended periods of time anymore. If this would have been 15 years ago, I would have this done in 2 days, and it would not be a problem to concentrate constantly for 2 days and have this done very good. But that's not always the way it goes there with the mental health and shit that happens into you in your life and such, and then your abilities to do these things might get a little bit depressed. Right. Also have a full-time job and all other things to take care of. Fucking hell, maybe I'll just say to hell with this. I'll just hook the 2.5 gig switch up in the most easiest way possible. Plug the 2.5 gig Ethernet cards into these 3 machines and just add to the mess there. I really don't want to add to the mess though. So all of this could be made to work a whole lot more efficient, I feel. Not more efficient, it will work the same. But more predictable though. A lot more predictable it could be made to work. Such that when you go to plug in a new switch here in the living room and you want to have these networks to it, you actually get those to it and not something completely random and you spend 3 fucking hours trying to figure out what's wrong and why you're not getting the thing to work. Then again, there are more pressing and important needs for me to deal with here in the life than my home network infrastructure. But there you go. I suppose that is up to 40 minutes now. No one clicks a 40-minute video. Anyway. So what have we missed? Quite a bit, I would think. Because for example, from this switch, there's a lot of cables going. And some of them are pretty long. And I can't help but feel that for some things. For example, here. Let's see here. Can I? Yeah, sure. The desk here, for example. I really don't need high performance here. So I don't need everything here. I don't need high performance for any of this stuff. So I don't need like 8 dedicated cables going directly from this switch to this place here. I could have one little desktop switch there and one cable. I don't need the performance here anymore. I used to require the performance, but not anymore. Where's the main server, by the way? Yeah, well, I have the NAS is here. It's turned off at the moment. It's a seldom used thing. I have my Excel machine is in the closet. Where do you keep the server then? The server is actually in my living room. Why the hell would you keep the server in the living room? Because it is not a server. It is a server in what it does, but the hardware is not a server hardware. I built it myself from a really old, not really old, well, 20-25 years old, but really nice Lian Li case with these what's it called, SSB form factors, huge fucking motherboard, everything, and it's not that loud, and it does use a fair amount of power. And measured it in a while, but probably 200-300 watts. And from basically from September until late May, early June is heating season. So during that time, the heat from those 300 watts or whatever it is, what I'm saying is it doesn't actually cost me a whole lot to run it for 8-9 months out of the year, because of course all the power it draws, not all, but 99% of the power that it draws gets turned into heat. There is a little bit that isn't turned into heat because it has fans, for example, so there is mechanical energy, and the hard drives are spinning. There's also a bit of mechanical energy that might not turn into heat. Doesn't that also get broken down to heat eventually? Everything does that, doesn't it? I'm not a physicist. I don't know. But it feels good to have it there. It makes less noise than the heat pump that is right above it on the wall. So the heat pump helps to circulate and also pump heat into the house from outdoors. And this adds a little bit to it. And it makes it more or less free to run for 8-9 months out of the year. Right. Let's keep it under 45 minutes. And so that's that. That's the first installment here of the Dr. Pluring's networking architecture restructuring or something. And I suppose we'll see if I actually get on with this, if I do this project, how long it will take. I need to figure out a way to do it in small steps, I think. And of course, naturally where I wanted to start is here with a 2.5 gigabit switch, because that has some payoff to it. I can see that I can start using that thing more efficiently, at least twice as fast as it is now to take a backup of the main server or certain data sets of the main server and put it into there. That would be at least twice as fast, hopefully almost close to 2.5 times as fast as it is now. Because watching that at doing 100 megabytes per second feels pretty damn slow. So that's really the payoff, and that's what I'm after. But yeah, around the firewall. There is a bit more to this. But let's start anyway. There you go. Thank you so very much for watching. Seek professional medical advice if you are addicted to any substance and you want to not be addicted to that substance. Do not take my word as anything other. But I can actually say this without any disclaimers or anything. If you are on a high doses of either alcohol, benzodiazepines or barbiturates, do not fucking quit cold turkey. It's really dangerous for you. You might die. Do not do it. that way. Good luck. Cheerio.